Hey guys, it's Ruffles Kerman. Today we are going to be sending a lander to Minmus, but this lander is not any normal lander. This lander is going to be using ion engines. As you probably know, ion engines have basically no thrust. In vacuum, it's 2 kilonewtons of thrust. For comparison, the Terrier has 60 kilonewtons of thrust, the Poodle has 250, and the Mammoth has 4,000. You'll notice I use the Orion type solar panels here, those little circular ones. Right now they look like a triangle. Those are now pretty much my favorite ones. I do like the ones that are retractable, but those are also much bigger, and so on a small lander and one that has to be light, I decided to use these ones. So we can't retract them once we extend them, but it's going to be fine. Anyway, with the second stage, I decided to be interesting. I didn't want a normal rocket. I mean, this is an ion engine rocket. It has to be interesting, right? So I decided to, do what you're seeing here. I don't really know how to explain that, but it looks sort of cool, so that's what I did. I ended up extremely overbuilding this rocket due to the fact that the ion engine stage has 4,600 meters per second, which is sort of insane, but I usually overbuild rockets, and I have a habit of doing that. I don't know. Better safe than sorry, right? So this has a lot of extra meters per second, and I'm going to dump a whole bunch of it. But we're not playing in career mode, where you'd have to pay for all of that. This is just science. Who plays career? If you play career, I have a lot of respect for you. Anyway, I recommend overbuilding your rockets, because it's always helpful. Anyway, here we are at the launch pad. This rocket is sort of small. I didn't show the rest of the build because that's pretty generic. Just stick a couple 3.5 meter parts on there, and then I did an engine plate with a bunch of Kodiaks and then one vector in the middle. This means that the rocket was a little wobbly because the Kodiaks don't have any gimbal, but I wanted to use the Kodiaks, so I did, and they look sort of cool, and that's important. You know, you gotta have a rocket that looks cool. I used the extendable circular solar panels as well on this bigger stage of the rocket. Well, they're not there anymore, but I did use them because I like them. I use them here as well. As you can tell, they're my favorite solar panel now. I always thought KSP should add these solar panels because I believe they're the ones on the Orion. Part of the Orion, I think. Not all of it. It has some normal, like, rectangular ones, but they're also on some concepts NASA has for a lunar lander, so they're sort of common now, and yeah, I thought NASA should definitely use them. Oh, you know what? I think they're also on the InSight, which landed on Mars, if I'm not mistaken. It has some that are similar to that. But as I've been speaking about these solar panels I like, we have arrived at Minmus. I generally end up with a vertical orbit like that. I'm not sure what the technical term for this is, but it's not an equatorial orbit. The thing is, with Minmus, it's really easy to turn this into an equatorial orbit, as I'll be doing right now. It took like 180 meters per second or something, which is really easy, and because I have a bunch of extra meters per second, I decided to go ahead with it because I wanted to, and it's also easier to land in the sun. Landing in the dark is never good. I did remember to put lights on this. I always forget to put lights on my lander craft, but I did remember to put lights on this one. The problem with landing with ion engines is that you have no thrust. This is really, really difficult. As you can see, it doesn't slow down at all. That's full throttle there, most of that, which makes it hard to land. But we did land, and we can now get out and plant that amazing Ruffles Kerman flag to show that we have been here. And there really isn't too much else to do. I'm playing this on a science save where I have all the science already. So let's just get out all the Kerbals, let them have their fun, let them frolic around on the practically zero gravity of Minmus, and then we can just go back to Kerman. I was at first thinking of docking with that stage that I had was going to leave in orbit around Minmus, but I decided against it because this has enough. It is really hard, as you can see, to make it go fast because it has no thrust, but it has more than enough to get back to Kerman, so I decided to just go straight back to Kerman with this, and I put that little onion pod, I think it's called. It's like an onion or a pomegranate, whichever one holds 3 Kerbals. I don't know why there's 3 different versions, but there are, so whichever one holds 3 Kerbals is the one I used. I'm getting off track. Anyway, I use that so we can get into the atmosphere. I've said this before in another one of my commentaries, but those things only have 20 ablator, and they can like they never run out of a blader. I enter orbit and I usually have over 20 left. So those things are very overpowered. But don't get me wrong, I really like them being overpowered and I will use them. In order to get down into the Kerman's atmosphere without going too fast, just because I'm still a little skeptical of these things, we had to do multiple passes around Kerman. It could have been one if we had stronger engines, but again, this has absolutely no thrust. This has a total of 8 kilonewtons of thrust, which is nothing. So we did, I think, 3 passes around. Then we went to the apoapsis here, and now we can enter Kerman's atmosphere. I always like to jettison that last stage very late. That's sort of like a Matt Lown thing to do, but it does look cool when it blows up, so I'm not going to blame him for that. So let's wait till it blows up, boom, jettison that stage, and now we just have this tiny little rocket ball hurtling towards the ground. It must feel very safe for those Kerbals inside, but I guess that's valid because they are safe. Spoiler alert, no Kerbals die in this video. That would not be a good thing. So these Kerbals do survive and live to see another day after they landed on Minmus with an ion engine. Not many people can say that. Thank you guys for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe, and have a great rest of your day.